Hello everyone, I do apologize for not making my review of this anytime sooner, but you know what, better sooner than later, I'd say. So I'm giving you my review of Finding Nemo, so I get to see Finding Dory this weekend. I'm also going, not only am I going to see that, but I'm also seeing the movie The Shallows, so we'll have two movie reviews this weekend for you guys, so you can both look forward to that. And, yeah, aside from that, and so I can jump right into my review of Finding Dory. But for now, I'm going to give you my review of Finding Nemo. And I remember as a kid that I saw this movie at a drive-in. It's probably the only movie I've ever got to see at a drive-in. And I think this is like somewhere in Alberta, but whatever. But it's a great, cherishable, memorable place for me that I remember so vividly well as a kid. And essentially, this is a movie I've grown up with. I love this movie so damn well. It still holds up. But nonetheless, what's the story, you may ask? In this movie, you have Albert Brooks, who's a clownfish, and he's a very overbearing, protective father because he lost his wife, and almost like 99% of his own kids, who are like in their little small, like, I forgot the word for that we eat, essentially. But whatever. And essentially, you know, he's a very, very particular father because not as he is his only son, but he's someone he really, really values, and he has a really damaged, deformed wing that's got kind of like a bit smaller that really hampers his son. So he's really, really protective. He doesn't really want much. He doesn't really want much. Like, you know, too much excitement or anything to happen to his son because he doesn't want his son to get hurt or injured or anything like that. I mean, there's the trust and establish a stronger relationship with his son. And it's like, you know, it's also his son's first day at fish school, essentially, and during then, essentially, his son gets taken by some scuba divers, and they end up putting him into a tank that's in a dentist place in Australia, of all places, because the movie is probably in the coastal reef region in Australia, which I'm probably assuming for the record, because the dentist has an Australian accent. And essentially, the father, has voiced by Albert Brooks once again, has to go through many highlights of places and colorful characters along the way, and during that he meets a unique character voiced by who's Dory, essentially, and she suffers from short-term memory loss, and she's voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, which you think may get really annoying and old fast, but you grow to love her, really. And essentially, they learn to co-op with each other, and they learn how to bounce off each other, essentially, while looking for her son, and she helps along the way. Of course, they meet unique different types of places, and essentially really, really colorful characters along the way. I love this film. I really do. This is one of my top. I think last year when I made my top, my top 5 personal favorite Pixar movies, this was like within my top 5 at least. I still love this movie. It's just seriously, like, within the last 2 weeks, I probably watched this movie about 3-4 times because I was so eager for the scene. I'm even surprised at my own self of how eager I am to see Finding Dory, at least. And, yeah, I'm just really, really shocked of how much I'm anticipating that movie. But this movie still holds up. Visually, it's immaculate. It's gorgeous. The underwater sea looks beautiful. The character voices sound great. There's certain characters who have celebrity voices, like Albert Brooks, Ellen DeGeneres, William Dafoe, but they don't feel too obvious. They feel like voices that really do match the personality of these characters, which works well. Like the grizzled type of badass fish named Gil, who Nemo meets in the tank, voiced by William Dafoe. And that's, for me, at least, my favorite character. I think he's just so cool. There's something about him that feels like a classic, cool character to me, at least. He has that suave, he has that cool, menacing, silent but deadly feel to him. And I love his character for that. I love the character of Nemo. He's so wide-eyed and adventurous, but he feels really contained by his father. He just wants his father's trust, and at least has the freedom to do what he wants without his father constantly breathing down his freaking neck. And at least he wants essentially a good sense of trust and a good sense of a relationship there where they can respect each other's angles. The father needs at least. That's the thing about the movie. They know how to flesh out the characters and know how to give them such a great arc and a great feeling of knowing how far they come through the story as a whole. And you get a good, genuine feeling of a whole arc within it, and therefore you really establish a relationship with almost all the characters. Not just that, but I also love the character of Ellen DeGeneres. Like Dory is like she's just constantly funny. She's constantly upbeat. You would think she gets annoying, but she doesn't. And hopefully that will continue within Finding Dory. She really, at least for me, she never got annoying. She never got repetitive. It was like first, to me, she was like a really, really real fresh breath air. Like she's really, always really funny, really wide-eyed, and she would constantly just be funny. She knows how to be that funny, and she knows how to keep continually to be that funny. She just knows how to be consistently funny, and to me, I love those type of characters who can just constantly be happy and upbeat. They really are the perfect people to be around because, well, if you ever feel sad or in the slumps, to that person, they could pick you up, and really, I love that type of feeling. Going into the movie, like first 2-3 minutes, is like you know what the message is already, but then the film knows how to make you feel like you could trust it, and there's a constant sense of we know this is essentially a repeated message, but it's done with such a skill and a love for the craft that that I personally can't help but love. And also the shark and oh my god, the scene with the jellyfish, and when they're bouncing on the tops of the jellyfish, and he says, Marlon says, okay, this jumping the tops on those parts don't sting at all. I watched that part on Blu-ray. Holy crap, it still looks beautiful. I am genuinely amazed by that. It still looks so visually and genuinely beautiful, and the smooth transitions with all the animation looks unbelievably gorgeous. And it's a visual, just amazing film that I just can't help but adore, really. And to me, it's just a solid movie with great voice acting. The animation is splendid. I love how the characters in this movie, the voice actors, they feel like a great perfect marriage. They aren't distracting, but they are noticeable actors. It's not like you're in the tank and you go, oh, that's William Dafoe as Gale. It's like no, he feels like that hardened, cool, silent but deadly, awesome character that he is, and I think that's a great example of this movie. Same thing with the father, voiced by Albert Brooks, and Dory, voiced by Ellen DeGeneres. They feel like great voice works, but they don't feel too distracting. They don't feel like, like a really famous. It doesn't feel like, what's that other stupid? There's an animated movie at the same time when this movie came out. A Shark Tale, that's it. What works in this film doesn't work in Shark Tale. In Shark Tale, it feels like they have so much celebrities in that movie that it feels too obvious. In this film, it feels like a very great marriage of a good balance there. In the Shark's Tale with Will Smith, oh my god, Jack Black, and all those other characters who are in that movie, they feel way too distracting. Like in that movie, you have a great cast, but they're utilized so poorly. But in this movie, you feel brilliantly great. And the writing is really great. And the animation is great. The jokes are wonderful. And overall, it's just a beautiful freaking movie. I still love this movie, and it still holds up. And to me, it's a genuinely amazing film. And I will never forget my first experience with Finding Nemo. To me, it's really one of my favorite animated movies of all time. It's one of my favorite childhood movies, at least, of all time, and I still adore this movie to death. It still holds up. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's greatly written. Even though, as great as it's written, I will say, admittedly, I'm saying is like, the first few minutes, you're kind of like, okay, we know what the story, we know what the message essentially is. And as obvious as it is, at least has a feeling of, we know, but you're going to have such a fun ride with this. And I love that. The part when they both get out the jellyfish field part, and they go into this big cool whirlwind type of thing with a bunch of these turtles. Oh my god, I love those turtles. They're so cool, and the sharks are awesome. When you see all those mines and that ship, oh my god, it's like for me, it felt like I was in Memento or something. It was like, it's like, whoa, I feel like I'm back as a kid watching this again. It really has a great nostalgic feeling for it, and I love films that could do that seamlessly and yet still never age. This film still holds up. And as much as I love watching, reflecting and seeing this movie as a kid, it still holds up. And in my opinion, that's a brilliant thing for any film to do, where it feels like you can, well, at least have a feeling of remembering when you first saw it, but still feels limitless. It feels like it never really, it feels like it never really was dated or anything like that. It feels fresh as new, really. And still, Finding Nemo is spectacular. It's one of the best Disney movies of the decade, really. I'll be honest. For me, it's like that decade. Finding Nemo. Okay, there's a lot of other movies that decade I love, but you know what? Nevertheless, Finding Nemo is an excellent film. I love it still so damn much. Rating for Finding Nemo is, of course, 100%. 100% sticker. Put it on there. Still, to me, it's a classic. And Finding Nemo still is an amazing film, and I love it to death. Thank you, everyone, for watching my review of Finding Nemo. As always, thank you very, very much, and I'll see you in the future for more reviews, as always. Till then, everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you till then. Goodbye.